All right, guys, let's jump right into it today. No fancy intro or anything else of that nature. Let's talk about my next 10x stock. That's the Palantir at basically $6 range. Let's talk about the stock that fits right there in that little bucket per se, because I get questions all in my DMs on my group. There's that comment is on every single YouTube video I have. Everybody's asking me, what is that next Palantir at $6? What is that next stock on your radar, Luke? So let's talk about that today. Right after you hit that like button, if you like getting to the truth without the hype, because that's exactly what you're going to get today, guys. And guess what that means? It means some of you guys are going to be ecstatic with what I'm going to give you today. And some of you guys are going to be extremely upset. And that's okay. Again, you're here for the truth without the hype. And that is exactly what I'm giving you. So if you're a long-term buy and hold investor and you are here to learn valuable lessons about how to find that Palantir at $6 stock, and you want to understand that dynamic and understand exactly how that happens, this video is for you. If you're looking for hype 10x to the moon, not for you. Sorry. Go ahead and be upset with me. Go ahead and blast me down in the comments. I don't care. I'm here to deliver that value to you guys today. Now, this video right here that I'm going to give to you guys was from my group from a couple months ago, where this started popping up all in the group. I mean, I got so many different questions about it. I'm like, okay, let me go and just put the truth out there right now as to what my next Palantir at $6 stock is. So that way I can stop answering the question, right? And so I wanted to provide that here for you guys. And if you want videos like this, along with free courses, free coaching, direct access to me, we got live events. There's even more stuff coming that's super secret, but getting ready to launch here for the group. Check out the pinned comment, take advantage of the earnings flash sale that's going on right now. It's getting ready to end here as we're winding up the earnings season. Check it out, it's the pinned comment down there. But let me go ahead and play this video for you guys right here. All right, guys. Well, I want to talk about what is my next Palantir at $6 or so. What is that stock? What exactly does it entail? And kind of everything around it, because I've gotten asked here in the group. I've gotten a lot of DMs about it. And of course, in the comment section on YouTube, there's a lot of folks asking that as well. I actually saw one the other day on an older video. And then, of course, there's just a lot of people chiming in. Yeah, what is that? You know, everybody's speculating and all that sort of stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to talk about what is that next stock. And unfortunately, you guys are going to be disappointed because you came here for the truth without the hype. The reality is the next Palantir at $6, more importantly, at that sort of pricing, is years away. And let me kind of explain this a little bit further as to why that is and why exactly that happens, and kind of my thought process behind everything around it, okay? Now that stock, whatever it is, might very well be a great company today, but my guess is most likely it's on some sort of hype run right now, just like Palantir was in 2021. You can also apply this to SoFi as well, just like SoFi did. You know, Palantir up over 40 bucks, SoFi up over $20, extremely overvalued, great companies, but extremely overvalued during that time. And of course, what ended up happening at that stage, right? You know, Palantir, I'm just going to stick with Palantir for the example here, fell all the way down to $6 shortly after that. So that company may very well be out there right now, might even be on your radar right now, but it is most likely, not all the way, not every stock is in this category, but a lot of them right now are overvalued, and they're going to have a fall at some point in time because the excitement was so high and everything was so high that it just gets too far out ahead of itself. And any sort of a negative market, any sort of just a correction, you know, economic uncertainty, whatever the case is going to send it tumbling down fast. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to time the market or anything else like that. So obviously I wanted to be a part of it, but obviously not at those prices either in that type of market. That's exactly what happens. And that's much more, it's not quite the 2021 levels yet, but that's definitely the type of market we're in right now, where all kinds of things are going to the moon. All sorts of things are, you know, basically trash in a lot of cases, right? Garbage companies going to the moon. Again, not as bad as it was in 2021, but we're definitely getting, you know, into the more speculative side of the market there, and the market cycle more importantly. So, and I'm just kind of looking at my notes here as we kind of went through it. The other way that I find, or one of the other ways that I identify Palantir at $6 is it's got to be hated by everyone, both the bulls and the bears. That's when that pricing will be. That's when you'll find your Palantir at $6 will be during that stage. It's not going to be when it's all the rage on YouTube, when everybody wants a piece of it, everybody has a bullish thesis, everybody's adding it to their portfolio. It's not where you're going to find that stock in that type of scenario. It's going to be at a time where even the bulls are questioning the investment because, like it or not, everybody's human. And when a stock, even if the fundamentals are great underneath, and the stock price just can't get going no matter what they do, blow it out of the earnings, great guidance, and the stock still doesn't move. Turns profitable, has a little bit of a hype run of it, turns profitable, then gets cut in half, in very short order, in like a month, all the way back down to $7 again. That's what happened to Palantir there. That obviously caused a lot of the bulls to question the stock. Is it ever going to get started? Is it really what it's all cracked up to be? A lot of other things of that nature. Some of them even sold out of the stock. Some of them who are even the massive bulls right now, getting all the credit for it, were questioning their investment back then. I'm not saying right or wrong or anything else of that nature. And like we just said, you need a bad market to get that sort of pricing. Palantir does not get all the way down to $6 if we're not in just an ugly market at the time where the market just wanted nothing to do really with anything at that stage, right? I mean, you had incredible companies fall 70%, much less something that was a brand new DPO still trying to turn profitable and some other things of that nature. You just had the wrong type of market to do that. However, it's the right type market to find your Palantir at $6. That's the type market you need to be in order to find that, which means in this type market, you're not going to find it. I'm not saying you're not going to find undervalued gems right now. I'm not saying you won't find great companies right now that are going to be massive in the future. But in order to have that combination of a great company like Palantir and stupid, unreasonably cheap pricing, which is what everybody's asking me about and everybody wants, it generally doesn't happen during these type markets right now. Right now, we're in kind of a hype market where every, company like Palantir that has great earnings, great everything, goes to the moon, obviously gets way ahead of itself, but at least it's a great company underneath. There's 10 other companies that are absolute trash that are doing the same exact thing or even outperforming Palantir. And think about it, even during this type of market, we had an opportunity with SoFi just this year. I remember, folks, legitimately, the conversation in here just a few months ago was maybe we should get out of SoFi and move over to Hood. I definitely wasn't thinking that. I thought they're two separate companies. I thought both companies were doing great. Just Hood popped off first. It went on a nice big run. Obviously, they had some great announcements, some great earnings. There was all kinds of things, reasons behind it. And of course, a hot market too helped with that. All kind of create this confluence of events to where Hood's popping off and people are going, oh gosh, SoFi's going down while Hood's going up. Maybe I should sell out of my SoFi and buy Hood. That's all trading games. It's all trading mentality. And again, some folks missed out on the SoFi train, right? Very, very similar type journey that Palantir went on. Hey, goes public, goes up to 20, falls all the way down to 4, and then, basically, kind of flounders in between 4 to, or I guess really $5 or $6 to, $10, $12 or so for more than a year. Kind of picked up some steam at the end of last year, fell back down again before finally going on this run right here and getting up over 20. Obviously, we'll see what happens with earnings and everything else of that nature. Maybe it goes right back down to 10 again. Who knows at that stage? But while everything else was popping off, again, everybody was chasing the hot play, not going after the stock that had great fundamentals, great earnings, great guidance, everything underneath, but was just out of favor with everyone, to include the bulls. Remember, even the people that were mega bulls were kind of like, ooh, yeah, I don't know about this. Some of them were just saying, Noto's the worst CEO ever. This company's trash. This management team's terrible. Even some of the more reasonable folks who love SoFi were kind of like, gosh, I really don't know if I should stay in it or not. I don't know. They even had them questioning the investment. We right here in this group, we weren't questioning anything. We were just like, hey, keep giving me cheap shares. I'll gobble them up. Eventually, it will return and do its thing. Again, I don't want my stocks to overshoot to the high side anyways. It puts you in a rough spot in terms of, deciding what to do with a company that gets severely overvalued. I don't like being in that spot either. So those are kind of my thoughts around finding my next Palantir at $6. The reality is there's probably a stock out there that, I may or may not have interest in that is on a run right now where I'm not interested in buying at these prices. I'll wait until they cool off. I'll wait until they give me more earnings performance to justify maybe the pricing that it's at right now. Some other things of that nature come into play with all that sort of stuff. And I'm not trying to actively find my next Palantir, my next this, my next SoFi, whatever the case is, because I found that's kind of useless. If you're thinking long-term, Palantir is going to give me another 10x, right? I just need to figure out, hey, do I just need to DCA? Do I need to cool off a little bit, wait for it to pull back a little bit, and then, add more shares? I just need to figure out the share count piece and just add more shares, or figure out another stock that I want to add more shares to, whatever the case is, as they continue to perform underneath earnings. SoFi is going to do that for me as well, I believe, in the future. Where are we sitting on right now with a lot of our shares? Probably a triple up, maybe a quadruple up for some of you guys, depending upon where your average is, or getting close to that right now. Guess what? I suspect they're going to do that for us again in the future as they continue to move forward. I need to figure out how to get more shares of these companies and be patient to get those shares, since I'm using a modified DCA. Obviously, if you're DCAing, just continue to DCA into those stocks. But everybody's constantly trying to find the next whatever. And the reality is, I want to find a great company that is just going to cause my portfolio to outperform year in and year out over a 20-year period. That, I couldn't predict when Apple was going to 10x and then 10x again and then 10x again. You can't predict those sorts of things. I had no idea they were coming, neither did anybody else. By the way, whenever the iPhone went and it was a hit, the stock didn't 10x. It was much later in the journey when it did. That's just kind of how these things all play out. Trying to predict it, trying to find the next one. Well, hey, I'm glad I didn't try to find the next Apple and I just held the dumb thing, right? It's paid off massively over 20 years. And I'm hoping that I've found the stocks that I need in order to get that type of return into the next 20 years. Now, of course, am I always looking? Absolutely. But in hot markets like this where things are popping off, I'm looking for the diamond in the rough. I'm not looking for the latest hot thing. And unfortunately, I'm afraid too many people are trying to find the next hot thing instead of just sticking to the fundamentals, being patient, understanding the market we're in right now. The best buys right now, just like they were in 2021, strangely enough, they weren't Palantir, they weren't SoFi, they weren't any of the companies that were popping off back then like crazy that are now obviously popping off again. It was in goofy stocks like Apple, for example, if you can believe that. Stocks like that were trading low while Palantir was trading at ridiculous valuations, SoFi and all the rest. So it's not always about, it just may not be the right market to find your next Palantir, whatever the case is. Maybe some of you guys have identified it. You've already started building out your position. Whenever it gets too red hot, you'll back off, wait for things to pull back and cool off and kind of normalize, whatever that is, whether it trades flat or down, and you just simply accumulate shares as you build out your position. That is absolutely viable as well. But I am not actively trying to find my next Palantir at $6. It's just a silly way to look at the stock market. More importantly, it just has you chasing hype and hope and all this other stuff because that's your goal, is to try to find a stock that's going to 10x like Palantir did. Well, it took us 3 years to get to that point where Palantir gave us that sort of run. I guess really almost 4 years if you really follow the entire journey, you know, kind of from peak down here, sideways movement there for a little while, some bumps up and down in between, and then a little bit of lift off, and then the big lift off here, you know, that we've had the past, you know, I guess pretty much coming up on a year now in regards to Palantir stock. That right there is the journey. That's the time frames that I'm looking at there. And you had plenty of time to find it, right? If you don't find it right now during times like that, well, guess what? You had another 3 years to identify the next Palantir, or in this case, to identify Palantir and load up on shares at very, very, very ridiculously cheap valuations. And of course, did I know it was going to run this year? Absolutely not. I thought we'd get another couple years worth of at least normal trading with the stock. We didn't. Hey, that's the stock market. It is what it is. That's why we were buying heavy whenever we did. And I just kind of want you guys to kind of reframe that thought process a little bit, that we are back to people trying to 10x their portfolios all the time or find that next 10x. And it just is a useless exercise. That next 10x is not going to feel like a 10x whenever you buy it. It's going to feel the exact opposite way. Not a short-term 10x that just goes up, you know, like all the trash that's just got nothing but a PowerPoint and it's going to the moon, or no earnings and it's going to the moon, or no path to profitability and it's going to the moon. Not that type of stuff. I'm talking about the good companies that are going to be great for you in the future, that are going to have solid fundamentals to where even if they get overvalued, they won't, you know, they will be able to maintain that valuation. Or if they crater down, you'll see that it's just a screaming deal like Meta at $80, for example. It will be so easy to identify at that stage because they have actual earnings. They are actually great companies, and they are actually, you know, moving the football per se every single quarter, quarter in and quarter out. So anyways, I know that wasn't the exact answer a lot of you guys were looking for, but we've got to change that mentality and understand what we're looking at, understand the market we're in right now. Not that there aren't great companies out there, but just kind of be very, very careful that you're not just chasing 10x to chase 10x versus, you know, being that prudent investor, aligning those stocks to your goals, and then understanding, you know, where your stock's at on a valuation perspective, and then kind of move forward from there. So anyway, and remember, if you want to see videos like that, you want to see my complete watch list with price targets, all my buy and sell alerts in real time, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there, get your free coaching, take those courses for free. Guys, there's so much involved in the group. Check out the pinned comment, see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.